everybody, Earl at thelogbook.com, back for more Voyages of Shelf Discovery, and we have a year-end purchase from the end of 2025, which is that Hallmark, as usual, had a sale on their Christmas ornaments, and there were a couple that I'd had my eyes on already, didn't pick up at full price, got them on sale, and yeah, this year's selections were pretty much all Star Trek. I picked up Mariner and Boimler from Lower Decks, and especially once it came down in price, the sit-down Sega Star Trek arcade game from 1983, which was a glorious thing if you ever got to see one. There is actually one across town from me at Arcadia Retrocade, and it's a marvel to behold because you're in the captain's chair. The controls are on the arms where the controls on Captain Kirk's chair are. It's wonderful. So when they said, okay, this is one of our ornaments, oh yeah, I was in 100% as soon as the price was down by 50%. Now, I had previously gotten a couple of other character ornaments. This was several years back. I think this was 2019. They were an STLV exclusive, and it was Maress and Eric's from the original animated series. Those are the only character ornaments I had picked up from Star Trek before. And it was kind of a gamble because I was hoping they would scale well next to the Playmates action figures of the original crew. It turns out they're a little bit smaller. Let's see how Boimler and Mariner fare in that test. There's only one way to find out, and that is to open them up, which fortunately, this is a less arduous process than opening up the typical action figure, let's put it that way. For whatever reason, you do not have the same layers of security ties and so on. And so there they are. You open the box, you pull the trays apart, and they stand. That's a good thing. That's something that Maress and Eric's had a lot of trouble with. They were a little too delicate to stand, and I wound up getting them little hangers that would hold them at about the right height. So let's stand them next to some classic Playmates figures. So we've got Captain Kirk, we've got Captain Picard here. This is not bad. I mean, considering that these are younger people, I'm okay with them being a little bit shorter than Kirk and Picard. And they do stand on their own wonderfully. So that's a huge plus right there. I was very happy with that. Let's go ahead and open the arcade game, and at some point we will hear it because this thing makes noises. Now, I will point out that mine came with the batteries already in it, and so I remember when I opened the box that these were shipped in to me by Hallmark, the moment I gave the arcade game a little bit of a squeeze, it started talking to me. So, kind of fascinating that there's not more packing than that. It's just tissue paper. Okay. But I will point out that this thing, once you get it out, is absolutely beautiful. Every rivet, every vent, every detail that is on the actual arcade machine is right where it should be. Even the key locks to allow the arcade operator access to the guts of the machine. If you press the Delta on the stand, which is actually a thing that is on the cockpit machine.
Captain of the Starship Enterprise. Welcome aboard, Captain. Entering sector.
like I said, that is just gorgeous, and every detail is right where it should be. The artwork is perfect. It's just an amazing piece of work. Now, how does it scale next to the other arcade machines that Hallmark has turned into ornaments? Pretty darn well. I would say that is exactly in scale. And so, it just looks like Boimler and Mariner are back in the student union at Starfleet Academy playing the old arcade games. It's pretty amazing stuff. The arcade game ornament was much better than I expected it to be. I was not expecting, and I should at this point, having gotten previous ornaments of various franchises, various IPs. There's no reason not to expect it to be ridiculously detailed, but it was ridiculously detailed. Like, whoever put this together loved that machine back in the day, just like I love that machine. The sounds that it plays are sampled directly from the arcade game. It's fantastic. So I was, my 2025 Hallmark haul, very, very, very happy with it. I really feel like until or unless, and a lot of this has to do with what Paramount is charging. There's some ridiculous stuff going on there that you may not be aware of, where they are like jumping the license fee for Star Trek merch up by 2,000% in some cases, basically driving people out of it who were turning out products that were beloved by fandom. These companies were not hurting at all because fandom was buying the stuff. Paramount was just like, oh no, we would like 2,000 times more money. No, and I could see why they bailed. And in some cases, like Hero Within, which did clothing, they bailed on that. Another company that does clothing, Volante Design, that's the end of the company. Losing the Star Trek license is the end of the company. So I'm glad that Hallmark has been able to hang on to the license. They really are kind of turning out the stuff that we actually want. I mean, I've got Boimler and Mariner now without waiting for, whenever Master Replicas might get that going. Maybe not. And I'm not casting shade on Master Replicas. The international trade situation has also become ridiculously complicated. So, thankfully, Hallmark is cranking out stuff that us old Trekkies and new Trekkies alike, because Lower Decks is not exactly old. This is the stuff we actually want, and I'm grateful that they are still in a position to keep doing it. And I hope nobody gets any ideas about asking them for more of a share.